two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to be going on about a movie that Tammy chose for today. Um, so let's see. It is a film. This is what IMDb says about the film that we are going to go on about. Publisher Will Randall becomes a demon wolf and has to fight to keep his job. That's simple. Tammy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the movie that you chose for today?
Basically, Jack Nicholson gets bit by a wolf and um ends up. I, it's hard to say if he's really a werewolf or if he's more of a wolf. I mean, he kind of has the properties of like what a werewolf would be because there's somebody else later on in the movie that gets bit by him and turns into it. And when he dies, he does go back to his human form, but they don't come to me. They don't completely turn into a werewolf. Not what we're used to seeing as a werewolf. In other movies.
Wolfman.
They got a lot of the same characteristics, but they don't look like a full blown werewolf like what we're used to seeing.
Exactly play.
But he does have the extra smell and sights and all that, which at the beginning makes things very comical because he could smell things and hear things and see things. And, it takes him a while to figure out exactly what is going on. But his how do I put it? The wolf mentality of wanting to be strong and in charge and everything, I think is what ends up taking over too, because he ends up using that wisdom and that fight and everything to keep his job. So there's like a lot of things going on, but it's like he thinks that this wolf thing is a curse, but in other ways it really ended up helping him. So
Okay. What were your first impressions of seeing this? Was this one that your dad turned you on to, or?
I don't know who it did. I think my mom might have, because my mom was the big wolf person. You know, she collected some wolves. You were at her house before she passed. Like that one bathroom was all wolf.
Yeah.
And she really liked wolf stuff. I think she liked Jack Nicholson also. So she might have been the one.
Okay.
For all I know, it might have been vice versa. I might have saw it first and told her about it. So.
And you don't remember when you first saw this film? It came out in 1994. How old were you then?
Okay, no, it's not Lead 1.
94?
Yeah, it came out in 1994.
About
I thought it was born.
About 22, 23.
Okay.
So somewhere around there.
Ready?
Bob could have turned me onto it too, because he likes.
And
stuff
your
like
first impressions of watching this, was this a first time watch for you?
Who are you talking to?
You.
Oh no, it's not a first time watching it. I own it.
Doesn't mean that it wasn't your first. How many times would you say you have watched this?
Over the years, probably about at least 5.
Okay.
I mean,
And
I more than once I've looked at all of my movies and just been in the mood for a movie, and it goes, zzz, and I get that. Oh, hey, yeah, you know.
and to you, does it still hold up over time?
Oh yeah, I mean, I really I like Nicholson. You know, I've liked him in a lot of movies, so I think he was a good wolf.
Okay. Heading over to you, Kroll. Was this the first time watch for you?
Yep.
It was?
Yep.
And
I've seen bits and pieces over the years, but never saw it all.
okay. And what were your thoughts on it?
It was a good movie.
Good. I'm glad that we could bring a movie to the table that you haven't seen and that you actually liked.
And it's not really a horror movie.
Well, no, it's kind of a
Mm, more
It
or
isn't.
less.
It is and it isn't. It's kind of like a.
It's not scary, but most horror movies aren't, so.
Well, I know you're not a big fan of horror movies, but it really isn't a horror movie.
I like Wolfman and Dracula's and vampires and stuff like that.
Well, I know you like all that stuff. That's why I figured you'd get into it. Plus, like I said, it's not a real horror movie.
So,
Third horror.
at the end of the day, do you think, since it was from 1994, do you think it holds up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, heading over to you, Squab.
Me.
Why don't you? Was this a first time watch for you?
Yes, yes, it was the first time, and I liked the movie. It was fun, good combination of romance, humor, and some horror. So yeah, it was pretty much to my tastes. I the, it left me with some questions about the ending, but we will get to that. But all in all, it was really fun, and I'm glad I watched it.
I'm actually gonna have to say that myself. I think this is like maybe my third time watching it. I've seen it twice before. Once with Tammy, and once like years ago. And I do have the film in my collection. But I like to think that Jack Nicholson is like one of the better actors that was out there. And if he was still doing stuff, which I'm not sure if he is or isn't, I would still watch anything that he put out because he's that good. So, even though I didn't like The Shining per se, I liked his role. Things of that nature.
You're a fucking weirdo.
No,
That's
it didn't go the way of the novel. So that's why I don't like it.
Rod Stone. Get over it.
Um, but anyway, that being said, the movie, except for maybe Tammy and I were kind of joking a little bit that he was running through the woods very slowly, and I was doing the like the $6 Million Man uh, for a moment. They did a lot of slow shots. Other than that, I loved the movie. I loved his look, um, and all that jazz. It is an enjoyable film.
What about
And
the window?
the open window.
That huge open window that had no screen, no nothing. Then it's huge and it's open and he jumps through it. It's like, who the fuck has a window like that open with no screen or nothing? It's just open.
I would worry about winter times.
I guess he hasn't acted for 13 years and he has dementia.
Oh, Jack Nicholson
Yes.
would explain a lot. But in any case, so this film was directed by Mike Nichols, and not only does it star Jack Nicholson, but it also stars James Spader, Michelle Pfeiffer, and there are a couple of cameos that I'm sure we'll get into. That
Just
show,
thinking of Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer, another movie that they're both in, Batman.
yes. Actually, Michelle Pfeiffer was in Batman Returns.
Oh yeah, it's
He was
Catwoman.
he was in
Oh,
he was in the first one. They weren't in it together. So, but I get what you're saying. They were both in the Batman universe, which is cool. You know, I mean, it's kind of cool how it's kind of like. And I was thinking at the time I was watching this yesterday that at what time Dangerous Minds the movie came out. Because I remembered Michelle Pfeiffer being the teacher in that movie, and it turns out that movie was filmed a year later than this. So to me, thinking about Dangerous Minds at that point in time made made me wonder when it came out, and it's. I do think that Michelle Pfeiffer is a very good-looking woman at this point in time in her life.
yep.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that's why I like Dangerous
Ooh,
Minds.
Dangerous Minds, a thriller, looks interesting.
But yeah,
Yeah, it
a
seems
lot of people,
interesting.
a lot of people remember Dangerous Minds for the fact that Gangster's Paradise came out of its soundtrack from Coolio, which Coolio is now dead. So, but that being said, that was my first impressions. Tammy, why don't you bring us into the plot?
Okay, well, it starts out that he's driving along and it's snowing and he's having a hard time seeing. And next thing you know, he hits a wolf. And he goes to check on it. And I don't understand why he wanted to move it out of the middle of the road because he wasn't going to go the way of where the wolf ended up. He went the other way. But, anyways, he
Checking to
tries
see
to move it out of the road,
if he had an animal
think,
here.
thinking it's dead, and it bites him. And then it takes off, and David caught this. I don't know if I caught it before or not about all the other wolves that are sitting there watching.
Yeah, there were a ton of other wolves that were like peeking out from the woods there that I had never noticed before. Maybe it's because I was paying attention this time around, but definitely a lot of animatronic wolves that were standing in the in the wake, watching him go away or whatever, and then it goes into the title.
And he goes to the doc. He gets his tetanus shot. The doc wraps him up, and then things start changing. he takes the bandage off the one day and notices that it's got a lot of fur around it. And he starts noticing his sense of smell. Walks past the one guy at work and says something about drinking tequila before work. And the guy is just freaked out.
No,
Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then he starts reading this manuscript and without his glasses. And one of his assistants notices that he's reading without his glasses, and he
Yep,
said,
and just to stop you here for a moment, his assistant. Did any of you recognize him?
Niles.
Yep, from Niles Crane from Frasier. If any of you know the comedy show Frasier,
Did
he
you
was
recognize?
Frasier Crane's brother. Which the thing I remember about Niles is that every time he lied, his nose bled.
Did anyone recognize the cop in handcuffs?
Yeah, David Schwimmer from Friends.
Yep.
That was the other
Yep.
cameo.
yeah, we didn't get that far yet. But anyways, yes, he is starting to notice things now. And he's saying that because he took a big rest, he slept all day one day. So he's telling everybody, oh, I got all this good rest, so now I feel great. I feel like 20 years younger. And that's what he's attributing all this to at first.
Until out to him that now he suddenly can see better. He's like, you had a good point there.
Well, also, he. I know you might have mentioned this, but he does work for a publishing firm. That he, at least in the next after the beginning scene, he knows that he is going to get canned. Partially because he's old, partially because the dude that's in charge doesn't like him, and uh, all that about it. Like he's calm and casual about it, but he knows it's going to happen, and it's he kind of figures out who's going to take over his spot anyway, and he calls him out on it too. But when he starts getting like his better senses, he figures out that his wife is cheating on him with the dude, which just so happens to be the James Spader character.
Yeah, what do you guys think about him? A little bit cocky, isn't he?
Oh, he's a douche.
Yeah, at first when it was said that when I saw his reaction to getting Will's job, he was like acting like he was sorry and all that, and Will was being kind of hostile towards him. And at first I was like, wait, what did this guy actually do wrong? But then throughout the movie, I saw what he was really all about and realized that he was really an asshole.
He was basically kissing the one old lady's butt that was talking. I think she was a
She had
medium.
she had a contract with them,
Yeah.
and then he basically knew because he was kissing the head dude's butt. He basically knew he was going to be taking over Will's spot. So he was kissing this lady's behind because she still has a contract with them. So he wanted to make sure she wasn't going to pull out because it seemed like there was a new company coming in or whatever, and they were cleaning house, and that's kind of why Will was going to lose his job unless he wanted to go overseas. That was his choice. And the other guy was going to be taking over his job. So,
which I think there's something business wise that he ended up doing later on, where he actually got better at his job and collected information about the company that he could actually exploit with the media, and he basically blackmailed the dude into giving him his job. In fact, I think he actually blackmailed him into didn't he like take over the company, Jack?
no,
I mean, his character? No.
no.
I was trying to understand all that.
He just got his job back with all kinds of goodies.
They made it so twice.
Because I believe he did have something on Dude, and that's why he got the job back with all kinds of goodies, because he basically told them. And the other thing was Will and his assistant and his secretary were actually going to open their own publishing company,
I
and
think
they were going to be backed by other people, and that's what I think it kind of scared Dude.
but he his hands. It was
That's actually a good response to getting kicked out. That's probably what I would do myself in such a situation if I had what it takes to put the idea into action.
Well, I think in actuality, whatever talents the becoming a wolf gave him, it gave him a keen sense of and stuff to help him, uh, get control of his life again. It seemed like it had spun out of control by this point, and whatnot. And I think it was kind of interesting that he was married in the very beginning, and then, you know, halfway through, partway through, he ended up, having a relationship with the daughter of his publishing company. So,
Well, that happened
His
because
boss.
his wife cheated on him, and he left.
yep.
You know,
And she tried to come back. What did y'all think about that moment where she begged to come back with him?
he did right.
I think so too.
But where to go and how to get there?
What did you think about that moment, Tammy?
I thought it was right. I mean, she screwed up, you know. But anyways, getting back to the storyline, when things are first happening, he goes to this big. He's still with his wife. He goes to this big shindig that the head guy is having at his house, and he goes, they're out there having a talk, and then dude gives him the ultimatum, and he goes over by the horses, and the horses like totally freak when he comes around. I mean, freak. And so he freaks out, and that's where he ends up meeting Laura, I believe her name was Michelle Pfeiffer's character. Lauren.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's when he ends
Laura.
up meeting her for the first time. And she gets him all set to go back to the party.
Yep. He ends up accidentally like putting his hands on her breasts, and she's like, "Hey, did you intentionally do that?"
I'm safe. I'm a married man. You're married. That makes you safe.
Yeah, I like that comment. So okay. So you think you're safe? So, but it's like right after that, that's when all the turn of events start happening, and then he gets home the one day, and there's a message from the wife about her job. If he doesn't believe it for some reason because he picks up a shirt or a dress or something to hers, and he smells it, and he can smell the other dude on it, and he knows that scent because that's the guy that he
Mm,
works with. And when he goes over there, he finds out
yeah, who also
that she's been cheating with him.
Go down the
So what do
street,
you guys think about
sniff.
that? Because he bites him. You know,
uh, yeah, actually, when exactly did the whale bite Stuart? I kind of failed to see that moment.
Oh, he ends up sniffing his way to the scent of um, the other guy's house. He comes down, lets him in, and he acts all funny, and then he turns around and he bites him on the hand, and then he jumps up the stairs. You didn't see that?
Oh, so that's when.
Yeah, that's when he bit him.
and we don't really see anything at first about Stewart having some changes.
No,
Uh,
it's not
uh,
until it's
they
not
find out
until
that his wife gets murdered.
yes.
Then we end up seeing that Stewart is going through some changes. All you have to do is look at his eyes. It's like, come on, people. Nobody else knows there's something wrong with his eyes.
Right? And he's in a police station. I mean, God, you know, you'd think somebody would notice. Okay, this man is going through changes. Really, look at this dude. You know, people are oblivious. What do you think, Boris? What do you think about how Stewart looks in that police station?
At the point when he was already beaten, when he had already started to transform.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, he was acting quite a bit unlike his previous self, and it was obvious what was happening to him. And yeah, he was acting a little freaky there.
hmm
So, what do you think about when William stays over by Lauren's because he's not feeling well, and he goes out through that window that nobody would have a window like that in their house, but never mind. And he gets that deer. We were talking about at the beginning of the show
Oh, that
how they
was
how they filmed that reminded me of we both said the $6 million man, how he was running, you know, and then he gets the deer, and
yeah, that was actually
but there's, like David said, there's no blood on him when he bites the deer, and then later on, then we see another shot of him and he's full of blood.
yeah. There was no blood on his face or hands or shirt or anything
yeah.
after he supposedly had bitten the deer. So in the next shot, when he wakes up with blood all over his face and whatnot, they must have been like, "Oh shit, we forgot to make sure he had blood. Okay, let's make sure he wakes up with blood, fellas."
What do you think about that, Kroll?
You go what?
In the one shot when he bit the deer, and he lifts his face, and you see the jutting of the jaw. There's no blood on his face or anything, not even on his shirt. But in the next shot, he actually has blood all over his face, all over his shirt, like he had engorged himself. But in the previous shot, he didn't have any signs that he bit the deer. You know.
They weren't perfect.
But all right.
Well, I guess we're kind of up to where, he's transformed a few times. He went in the park and these kids tried to rob him. Yep, they found out that they shouldn't have tried to do that. And then the next day at work, he realizes that he's got 2 fingers and bloody fingers in his pocket from that night.
Oh yeah, because he
Uh,
he went to the zoo, didn't he? And then
Went to the zoo first, yeah, and then he got away from the cops there.
he was accosted by a couple of gang members or thugs, and turns out he had the fingers of one of the thugs and a handkerchief in his pocket from the night before.
The dude's shirt.
Actually, were the fingers from the cop he stole the handcuffs from?
No, the fingers were from one of the black guys that was in the group. There was a white guy and 2 black guys that were trying to hold him up.
Oh, it's
Mm,
I said this is a white boy.
okay, then maybe I mixed it up, but I thought that the fingers, when he found fingers in his pocket, that was before he got attacked by the thugs.
Nope,
But
No.
maybe
it
I
was kind
mixed
of
it up.
implication because after he'd leapt away from the cops, he ran into the thugs, and they wanted his money, and he was like, "Well, I've got 100 grand in my pocket. How much you want? I can give you 5, 10."
It was actually 1,000.
Well, yeah, whatever. But they decided to try to attack him. Well, he attacked first, and dudes ended up. A lot of them ended up running away, but one of them ended up getting attacked. So I'm not sure if he killed the guy, but he definitely came away with a couple of fingers. So, but anyways, back to you, Tammy.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I think things are really starting to change for him. And the guy that he said that about the tequila, he ends up calling him and asking him about to find a book that would have to do with being possessed by an animal. If there's any books out there, if you get like possessed by like a wolf, and he ends up meeting up with the publisher of this book because this is supposed to be the #1 book, which is what he asked for. And the guy tells him all about everything that he knows, and even gives him a medallion. But he tells him that he can't do anything to help him, that's beyond his scope. But he does ask. He asks for him to bite him because he is dying, and he thinks that if he becomes a wolf, that'll help him. But Will can't just do it, And I understand where he he can't turn into the wolf just because he wants to turn into the wolf.
Yeah, he can't just vogue as from the series Grimm. He can't just vogue.
Well, maybe he would have saved that guy from dying by doing that, so I think it's kind of sad he didn't end up doing it.
Who's to say that he didn't? I mean, I do think that Jack Nicholson's character did survive. So
I would love to. I would love to see that
Y-
he went while he was in the wolf form. I would love to have seen him go back to this guy and bite him. You know, I would. I wouldn't mind that being in it
y-
because he said, you know, feel free to stop by anytime, and you know,
once you believe,
yeah.
that's what he said. Once you believe, uh, maybe you can come back and bite me.
Bite me.
Well,
I
just like
wonder if that phrase had the same.
there are people who want to get bitten by vampires, you know. So
I don't think at that
Uh,
time Will.
yeah.
I don't think Will at that time totally believed that's where the guy was coming from. So I don't think he totally believed that if he bit him that he would turn. So I think if he really did believe in it, he would have bit him, you know. But at that time, I don't think he did believed it yet.
Oh, oh,
I think he,
possibly.
I think he had at that time he still had a whole lot more questions than answers as to what was going on, and wasn't sure what he should believe.
Ooh,
Because you saw he did not put that medallion on right away.
yeah, that's true.
He didn't put that medallion on until he started feeling like he was changing again, and he put it on when he was, you know, hoping to prevent it, you know.
yeah.
Hmm.
But
So
anyway, he's been dealing with that. He puts his foot down about getting his job, and he asks that he gets to tell Stuart that Stuart doesn't have his job anymore. And what do you guys think about that bathroom scenario? I thought that was just awesome when he's telling Stuart, and then he goes and pees on him.
that's
What did you do
probably the
that
best part
for?
of the
Oh,
movie.
yeah. Yeah,
What do you?
I'm marking my
that was the
territory.
best.
I like that. I'm marking my territory.
Crazy?
I
I'm
do
just marking
remember
my
when I
territory.
saw that the first time, and he said that I'm marking my territory. I was just like, ah.
Yeah, yeah. That was hilarious.
Jack, that's kind of what puts the cops on his tail because that's what Stewart tells the cops. You know, he's trying to pin the thing on um Will. You know,
Well,
he pisses on his pisses on his shoes and whatnot, and Stewart is trying to
Ooh,
pin it on Will. So
yeah, because I believe
yeah, trying to frame him for the murder of his wife.
Crow, what did you think about that part?
What part?
The part where he peed on Stewart's shoes.
Well, that was great. I'm not peeing on you. I'm just marking my territory. You were in the way.
when we were watching it last night, and it got to that, I knew exactly what was going to happen because I've seen it before. But I was like, oh, I like this part.
Indeed. Although I think the urine was CGI. At least I had that impression. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Well, in any case,
I
uh,
can see Jack Nicholson actually doing peen. I could see him do that.
but also Laura. I think her name is Laura, right? Laura or Lauren?
Yes.
Lauren.
Lauren.
I think
Okay.
it's Laura.
Well, in any case,
Lauren.
him and her are getting closer. Because they try to I guess she gets out of a dinner date to have lunch with Will. And then they spend an afternoon together. And then he ends up like getting exhausted for some reason. So she puts him in her bed or whatnot. Then somehow during the night, he gets up, kills the deer, and runs off. And she at first doesn't want to talk to him because she thinks he's just blowing her off. And he asks for another date. She ends up showing up at his place later on. And he won't let her in.
And
So
before that, she sees the encounter with the wife and just sits there and watches it.
yeah.
But yes, then he won't let her in. She gets in, and
He's chained to the radiator. Well, he's handcuffed to the radiator.
Yeah, without a key.
Go ahead, Tammy.
And then they sit and talk, and she gets him unchained, only to actually handcuff him and take advantage of him. And then we later on see that everything came off, including the handcuffs, and they're enjoying being in each other's company. That's what that was.
And we see him leave the bed and also come back to it.
But we don't see him do anything. That's where the mystery comes in, because later on you wonder,
I
because the
don't
cops show up
know
to tell him that his
exactly
wife has been
where he goes.
killed. But you wonder later, did he kill her or did Andrew do it? Or sorry, not
Yeah.
Andrew, I mean Stuart. Did Stuart do it?
Yeah, Stuart. Yeah.
It leaves you wondering which one of them did it. I think Stuart did it, just to
I'm
create
pretty
a
sure
problem.
Stuart did it.
At that point, when we found out the wife was dead, I wasn't sure who had killed her. At that point, I didn't even realize that Stuart was going to become a wolf too. But since we didn't see her getting killed, I did think it was going to be someone other than Will, because it would be too obvious if it was him.
And we didn't see that Stuart was changing until this all happened, because then we saw him at the cop shop, and you could tell that he was changing, and that's
Well,
what
yeah.
makes you.
We
That's what
knew
made
he
you
was
wonder.
bitten. We knew he was bitten, and honestly, when he was talking to the dude in charge, you saw his hand was bandaged, and that was before we saw him um at the police station too. And he hadn't quite changed entirely, but he did have a bandage on his hand.
And you could see in his eyes something was going on.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I guess at this point, we're wondering. We're at the cop shop, and we're wondering who did what to, and then this is when Lauren is starting to have second thoughts about everything too, because she didn't believe what he was telling her about him changing, And when the police came to tell him about his wife, and then when everything was coming together, she started having second thoughts, and she started getting kind of paranoid, maybe you might say, because she even lies to him and says she got called into the cop shop that night when she didn't. She decided to go there on her own because she's now being paranoid. And then she runs into Stuart, who acts quite strangely, so she ends up leaving the cop shop.
Yep, and
And
he acts like really strangely because he sniffs at her. He he does all kinds of things to make himself look kooky. But I believe that's about when she goes back to her place.
and she chains them in the not chains them but locks them in the stable.
Yeah, and that is actually a really strong horse stable because you can tell that that these are made for horses that are not to escape easily. You know.
Mm,
But then
yeah,
Because
but
that's
the,
another thing. The horses that apparently her family owns are scared of uh, Will, uh, especially after he's been bitten. You know, so what do you think about that part, Tammy?
well, yeah, she's uh she's trying to be helpful, but yet she's scared and she's whatever. I mean, because now is when the real action starts because she said she'd go have a drink with Stuart, and after Stuart goes and gives the cops all this crap, which he's trying to make it look like Will is the one that they should be looking at, and after all his crap, they decide they're going to go after Will. But he gets all upset. Well, Stuart gets upset because she left. So he beelines it to her house and kills the security guard at the gate, kills another guard, takes her into the gets a hold of her. She gets into the stable, and he is trying to have his way with her right in front of Will until Will finally has enough and takes that medallion off so that he can fully change. And
Yeah,
then the fight is on. That's a good
because
fight.
it is kind of a fight. Uh, Crow, what do you think about that final fight? You still there?
Crow.
What?
What do you think about that final fight?
Great.
Okay.
I thought the fight was really good.
What about you, Boris?
Yeah, the final fight was really good. There were some good spudouts there too. I was surprised how big Laura's part in it was. She was the one who eventually killed Stewart. I didn't see that coming. But yeah, the whole fight was really good.
Oh yeah, he jumped down on top of him, and then I think he flung Stewart flung her around a bit, and then I think he picked up a pitchfork and stabbed at him once, and then stabbed him at him again, clear across like half of the barn and onto him outside of the barn
Mm.
on those steps. And that, man, that was quite a fling. You know?
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think he landed into the water. That there was a small pond outside of the barn. I think he tried to drown him a bit, and then he flung him on some stairs. He started to walk away. He jumped. He picked up something. What was it he picked up? Stewart picked up something as he flew in the air.
Oh, he picked up like pruning shears, big ones.
Yeah, pruning shears, and he was going to.
He was gonna go get him, and just as he jumped up to go fly towards him, or leap towards him. That's it, leap towards him. Lauren shot him.
Yeah, several times.
Yep, she emptied the gun on his butt.
And then I believe Will has a slight romantic thing where he can't exactly turn back into a man, but he lovingly touches her, and then he runs off. And from what I gather, he turned into a wolf, full form. And that's what I gather. I guess the cops show up, and
Yeah, amazing how she cleaned herself up real good, eh?
yeah, she's like all makeuped up.
All clean, makeup up, freshly clothes, everything, Oh, what happened here?
I don't know. I plead the fifth, right?
Oh yeah, she acted like she didn't know anything was going on until she heard gunshots.
So, and of course, she made a comment, hey, why don't we have some drinks later? And she mentioned the drinks, and she was like, I could smell it from here, which is exactly what Will said about that one guy, and that he kept freaking out. That was kind of funny too, because he said something about, hey, how could you have tequila this early in the morning? And dude's all freaking out. How the fuck did you know that? I could smell it from here.
She said something about the cop, and as she's walking away, she said, I can smell it from here, which makes you wonder because, she did screw Will. So because they screwed, now she's won.
Yeah. Because I don't think she was bitten or anything.
Well, she wasn't bitten in any way that we saw, but
yeah, you never know. And which made me think that she was a wolf all along. Like maybe she was the wolf that bit him.
But if she was the wolf that bit him, then how would she be able to go back to a human form?
Because she had been a wolf for a long time, so she knew how to control it. Maybe.
Huh. So,
I always had that thought too, because she never told him really what she did. She said that she only stays at the cottage whenever she's in town, and even though she got freaky when he was trying to explain this to her and that he was changing and this and that was going on, it could have all just been a cover. Because she went from being all freaked out and paranoid and everything and gonna go to the cops and talk to him to when she left the cops because of Stewart, her whole thing seemed to change. Then all of a sudden, she wanted to protect William and was doing whatever she could to protect him. So she does like a whole 180.
Yeah, she does, which is kind of strange if she wasn't already a wolf. She had to have been a wolf all along, which is why I thought that okay, that wolf that bit him had to have been watching all this time. You know what I mean?
mm, possibly.
But that being said,
They're
um,
wondering.
it
They don't
it
know
does
if
make
she.
you wonder.
They don't know. You don't know if she's one, if she's gonna go meet up with him, or this or that or whatever. It kind of leaves you wondering.
Oh yeah,
What do you think about all that, Crow?
Crow, what do you think about all that?
Oh well.
Do you think she could be a wolf? Do you think she might have been one all along?
Yeah. I think she was one that bit him.
I
Mm,
I, I thought so too, since seeing this over time. Like I think she just uh played dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in any case, now that we're at
hmm.
the end of everything,
One thing I was left wondering though was did they stay together in the end or not?
I like to think so.
So
And I think they make you wonder about it, but I think ultimately, at the end of the day, yes, they do end up like together. Even though this is kind of like a one-off film where they didn't make a sequel, I don't think you really need one. Uh,
Mm,
it's to it's just you know
So did they have babies or puppies?
he's a good man
Did they have
who
did they have
turned
babies or puppies?
into a wolf and
Did they have puppies?
go into wolf wolf form.
possibly.
But yeah. What did y'all think about production? Cole, what about you?
I thought it was good. I like the way the Wolfman looked.
I thought it was a different transformation of, and there was a moment where he actually stood up and went to like the middle of his publisher's building, and you saw his ears wiggle. I thought that was cool.
I like the production because, like I said at the beginning, they don't make him or Stuart look like your typical werewolf in your werewolf movies. They don't make his whole body like totally change. He just gets furrier. His teeth change when he changes and his extra hair on his face and all that. So I actually like the transformation too because they made it their own in this movie instead of making it like all the other movies where people turn into a werewolf.
You got to have the
I
full body suit and everything like that, right?
Right, they made it more their own because they didn't go overboard with the transformation. It was just enough that you know that he transformed, without doing the full blown thing, which is what you normally see. So to me, I thought it was great because I I like the idea that they made it their own instead of like copying all the other movies out there. And I liked a few other things in the production, even though we got a kick out of him running in the forest. That we made the comment about the $6 million man, and because of the way he was running and the way he was jumping, and he could do all these extra jumps and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that I think that was cool. I mean, it was little bit odd, a little bit different, but
Uh,
it was the way they decided to do it. Since they did not make him completely transform, this was their way of giving him a little extra, so he could run a little bit better and he could jump a little bit better, you know. But he still basically looked like a man, you know.
Yeah.
So I like the production. I think they did a good job without going overboard. You got the idea.
I think so too, and it's definitely a different story to the Wolf Man story. I mean,
uh,
I don't think they needed a whole lot, a lot to produce a wolf out of, and it's not
uh,
necessarily a wolf man. It's he's turning into a wolf, So
yeah.
they went with the okay, you get bit by a wolf, you turn into a wolf as a thing, and by the end he ended up a wolf. So to me, I thought that was pretty cool. Cool. I thought the wolf I thought the animated wolves looked cool. You could tell that they were animatronic, you know. Uh, and I like that it was kind of like a wolf at a werewolf at Wall Street type thing. Too like there was a business thing going on and a takeover, and it wasn't just a wolf story, Um, and it had that supernatural aspect of it too, But yeah, it had romance. It had a little bit of everything. What about you, Boris?
I also liked the production. Now, okay, I maybe didn't realize. Uh, okay, maybe the eyes of the wolf, but other than that, my eye for those things isn't really good enough. I didn't figure out that it wasn't a real wolf. But yeah, all in all, I think the production was good, especially for that time period. I think they did properly everything that needed to be done.
Okay. Uh, as far as music goes, did anyone realize if there was any music involved? Let's see.
I don't know. That's
Huh.
usually your department.
I'm looking,
You usually are
seeing if
really good
there
at
was
that.
any. Doesn't really show that there's any kind of a soundtrack per se. but the music was done by Ennio Morricone, who was a composer for the Hateful Eight movie called The Best Offer. He was the composer behind the Untouchables movie, a composer for Cinema Paradiso. Let's see what else. He's definitely done a lot of composing. Seems like he's Italian, but he started out in he did the music, some of the music for Bulworth. U-Turn. Let's see, going back to where he first started. Okay, so he first started. Oh, holy shit! He first started in 1915.
Whoa.
What year?
Or actually, no, he started in the 60s. My Dear Killer, When Women Lost Their Tails, What Have You Done with Solange, Who Saw Her Die. Okay, so he actually came from a lot of giallo, Italian giallo films, uh, from like the 70s. Four Flies on Grey Velvet. So I think he actually worked with Dario Argento. So yeah, but in any case, let's go to favorite scenes and our favorite characters. So let's start with you, Ron. What was a favorite scene and our favorite character?
Probably end scene. Great battle. And I love Jack Nicholson's character, as the wolf and as a editor, and he's a amazing guy.
Okay, is that pretty much it then for you?
So,
Alrighty, heading over to you, Boris. Favorite scene?
I think my favorite. I think my favorite scene would also be the final fight. Okay, not only the fight itself, but everything that led to it that had some good spoodaus. uh, yeah, that would probably be my favorite scene too. But I did also like the scene in the bathroom and. What else? There were quite several good scenes, but I'm trying to remember what else there was that I really liked. Uh, huh. uh, Damn, I can't recall now, but I remember there were some other moments when I had some really good laughter with it, but can't remember exactly what it was.
So, who's your favorite character?
Oh, my favorite character, well, probably Will. It's kind of difficult for anyone else to be the favorite.
Okay. What about you,
But
Tammy?
Are you done, Boris?
I was going to say Laura was a good character too, but yeah, Will probably.
Well, my favorite character, of course, is Will. Um, and I guess I
Absolutely.
agree with you, Lars, that I have two favorite scenes. I like the fight scene at the end, but that bathroom scene just is, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what other scene I really liked? I think it was it in the zoo scene or earlier? I'm not sure exactly, but this one moment when an owl appeared on screen.
Oh, that was I think that was at the zoo. Yeah, because he was at the zoo and the lion roared and then the owl screeched and yeah, and everything. I think
Yeah,
that's
Uh,
where it was. Or
it
was
did
that
have
when
a
he
good
got
Hooter scene.
or was that when he got the deer? The,
Maybe I'm not sure, but I have to say the deer part is my least favorite. I really felt like I didn't have to see a deer getting killed and screaming in pain. That was
I
gruesome to
grew up
me.
in a family I grew up in a family that partially went and deer hunted. So I guess I'm kind of used to it. So yeah, we would get up at the crack of dawn at like 4 o'clock in the morning, hike down a road about 4 or 5 miles, and plop ourselves in the middle of the woods to wait to go and shoot deer with bow and arrow. That was my thing to do with my grandfather during like the winter months growing up. There was a point in time where my uncle actually felled a deer like in front of us, and I watched him gut the deer, put the guts out in the middle, and he had to drag it all the way back. And we ended up having a picture of ourselves in front of the hanging carcass. Uh, so
Ew.
yeah. But see, we live in America where deer are overpopulated, which is why, uh, 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 there's a reason
I
why hunters go out and hunt them, is because
No, don't get me wrong. I do understand why hunting is necessary, and I mean it's what gets hunted is used for food, so that's just natural. I'm not blaming hunters for what they do. I just don't like to witness it, if that makes any sense.
I don't like witnessing it entirely either. I remember my dad. I remember we were coming back from Christmas one year. My dad, my mom, myself, and my sister. My sister was in the back seat, um, and we were in like one of those minivans with the sliding doors. And three deer came out in the middle of the road. One deer went like across the street. My dad hit one with the radiator, and the last one
Oh,
ended up hitting the sliding doors window, and it was like right here, right in my face, and that deer did not end up like surviving. So
oh.
um, yeah. So when they come out and surprise you and cause you to have accidents, that is one of the reasons why hunters go and hunt them, so that they cannot populate the streets and cause accidents.
Mm, yeah, it makes
But
sense.
that was an accident, you know. They started out in front of my dad much. So
Yeah.
I'm just explaining. I mean, I've had experience, so
I
um,
get it. Like I said, I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, when truth be told, when a wolf or some animal like that kills a deer, it makes the deer suffer much more than when a human hunts it down. So there is that too. I'm just saying this whole scene of the deer uh, getting broken and screaming in pain and all that. I was like, I didn't really have to see that.
Yeah, you were probably being like, "No, Bambi, no!"
Well, okay, not quite. Just I felt the movie could have done without it, or maybe it could have been shown that he did what he did without making it so graphic on screen.
I think it needed the graphicness. So I guess for the '90s, that graphicness was what it was. I didn't find it graphic. I thought it was a little bit more intense because you saw him actually try to hunt the thing. But yeah, I get it. Um, most people don't want to see Bambi die. So, um,
I
but
was saying, run, dear, run.
Yeah, like mainly.
what did you say, girl?
Yeah.
I said, run, dear, run.
But
Well, they could have showed him getting it, and they could have shown him fight it. They just didn't have to actually show him the deer screaming or him breaking its neck like that. But
I think they
Mm,
wanted to show you the reality of
yeah.
it, and I think that made it more real. You know, but
Uh, that it definitely did, yeah.
that being said, did anyone else have anything else to add about the film or anything with it? The only reason why I said anything about my experiences with the deer is maybe because I'm desensitized about it a little bit. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to watch it like happen
Um,
right in front of me, uh, but it is what it is.
uh,
So, in any case,
yeah, in movies, uh,
go ahead.
I was going to say in movies I am kind of desensitized to this and that happening to human characters, which is maybe a little morbid on my part, but movies are movies. I don't think of them as reality most of the time. When it's about human characters, I'm kind of desensitized too, but I don't like to see animals suffering or getting killed. But yeah, that's just me personally not liking it, not saying it was absolutely unacceptable for that to be done in the movie. It's not like I'm calling for the movie to be cancelled or anything like that.
I guess the way I look at it is I'd rather a baby deer than a human being end up being killed.
Well,
And
in this world, yeah, but in fiction, it's different for me.
yeah, I guess. But in any case, hopefully you folks out there have enjoyed our discussion on Wolf. I sure have found it entertaining. Remember, this is the start of the year again, so hopefully you guys have had a happy new year and all that jazz. And hopefully this year will be a better year than at least the last couple of years, because the last couple of years have truly and honestly sucked.
Uh,
At least atmosphere as well as politically. So, um,
yeah, we could say so.
But let us know down in the comments what you thought of this film. Just go out and see it. If you have not, it is from 1994, directed by Mike Nichols, and stars Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer. So definitely an entertaining a movie in the wolf to werewolf genre. And hopefully we'll see you next week for my choice, which I'm going to choose a movie called Safe House. It's
Safe House.
Yeah, it's with Patrick Stewart in it. I'm in the mood for watching it.
That's your Christmas pick?
It's not a Christmas one per se. You guys can choose a Christmas one if you want.
You were supposed to too.
I know I was supposed to, but I did. But I really want to watch this one. If that's okay. Everyone else can do their own thing. It is a new year, so I am looking forward to whatever you guys choose. So, and I believe it will be Boris, your turn after me. So, right? Pretty
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so start thinking about your choice. And we were gonna
I
follow
already
this-
have, actually, believe me or not.
Okay. Well, what are you going to choose?
Violent Night.
Ah, good one. We haven't discussed it on either channel, so that would be a good one. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Last year when it, okay, now it's the year before last year when it came out, I really wanted to see it. I wanted to pick it for a discussion back then, but didn't end up doing it. So I'm finally going to watch it now. It looks really fun about Santa Claus kicking some gangster's asses or something like that. From what I remember.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So, in any case, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if none of you can find the movie. I will send you a copy if necessary to watch. I believe. Let's see. Looking up the safe.
What's it called?
Patrick. It's a 1998 film, directed by Eric Steven Stahl. So
What's it called again?
it's called Safe House.
Yeah.
Separate separate words, but in any case, like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I guess we just lost him. But in any case, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you.
Okie dokie.